Good afternoon and happy almost New Year. My name's Alicia and I'm coming to you from my home in the greater Seattle area of Washington State, and in this episode I would like to share with you all the things that I managed to craft and create in the month of December. December is always a lot of fun and very busy with all of the holiday festivities, the end of a school term, the start of a new year is right around the corner, so lots of goal setting and wrapping up. Did I meet this year's goals? And that's going to be a separate video, but for today, what I want to share is what I managed to make in the month of December, and I will let you know that crafting did happen. It was a beautiful month, a beautiful season, except for the weather. It was absolutely terrible. If you watched my Vlogmas videos, you'll know what I mean by terrible weather, and I'll just give you a quick synopsis of it. But I did finish a few things, which is great. Not all the things that I wanted to finish, but I knew that the plans I had set were super ambitious. So the fact that I didn't finish everything totally makes sense. So I'm happy with where I landed, and I'm going to start with the things that I finished, and then we can talk about things that are continuing on into forward future crafting and anything new that I might have started. So first off, my needles, and I'm not going to completely count this as finished because this is one of 24 mittens. But I did finish mitten number 6 in the mitten garland advent. I'll have the pattern linked in the description box because I can't remember the order in which those words are meant to be said. But yeah, mitten number 6 is, I'm going to count it as finished, but I still need the hanging loop. I need to make an I-cord so that I can hang this on a strand. And I did start mitten number 7. That's all I did. Here are plans that didn't make it. I was hoping to make much more progress on this than just one mitten. But I am one mitten closer to having my own advent calendar, because you can put things in here that aren't too big. There's definitely a size restriction, but it could be candy, it could be fiber, it could be yarn, it could be all kinds of things. So I am one mitten closer. So I'm disappointed. Not surprised, that's for sure. I'm not surprised. I did finish, though, a different advent knitting thing. And this I prioritized over the mittens for sure, partially because it's a lot less knitting than making the 24 mitten set, but also because it's a mystery knit along, and I wanted to do it in the timing in which it's still a mystery to me. So for the past so many years, Sarah Shira of Imagine Landscapes has been doing a mystery knit along to create a gnome during the Advent season, and I've enjoyed every gnome that I have made doing this. It's been like 5 or 6 years, I think, of me participating. I don't know if she had been doing it prior to that, but that's when I jumped in. So this is, I'd have to count the gnomes on my the mantle above the fireplace again. I don't want to do that, but yeah, so I participated again this year. So This year's gnome is Nan-Dad. Previous year was Nana. So the idea is they're grandma and grandpa. And they're meant to kind of coordinate with each other. Not be matchy-matchy, but coordinate. And I did consider that when choosing my colors. I didn't want them to look like, you know, a couple who coordinated their outfit to go to a wedding or something, right? Just what would they throw on a typical winter day where they look like they come from the same household, but are not matchy-matchy. So I did finish Nan-Dad, and he is stinking cute. I am fussing with his mustache just because it's in front of me. But yes, he has a mustache. And I think this is the first time I've made a mustache on a gnome, and he's adorable. He has a very tall hat, and the top of the hat is interesting because you make these eye cords and then you knot them. And I chose to knot them loosely, so it kind of just looks like a jumble. There are others who knotted them more tightly, so anyway, it's different. And honestly, when it came to that part of the pattern, I was like, what is she talking about? Split this up and make eye cords? But only out of some of the stitches. It was different, but I just did what she said and it turned out fine. So if you're scared of mystery knit-alongs like I mostly am, Sarah's are very well guided. She does an excellent job of just saying things clearly and plainly, and I really appreciate that. And every time I come out with an adorable gnome, so it's well worth the effort. And it's not a big yarn commitment because you're making a little gnome. So it's not like I'm making a sweater that in the end may or may not fit. Like, it's a gnome. And they're all adorable. So yes, he has a mustache. He has a very tall hat. He has skis made out of popsicle sticks. So I did not buy the kit. Apparently they had very cute skis with some like wood burned designs in it of snowflakes or something, and they were stinking cute. But I had popsicle sticks lying around, and she did mention that you could do that, so that's what I did. So he has feet, and he has skis, and he has suspenders, and it's very, very cute. So I did keep up with the clues pretty well. There were a few days where I got behind meaning that I'm working on a clue, but there's a future clue already out. But I finished him on time, and I didn't enter in any of the giveaways because this time of year, I'm just lazy. Like, I'm really glad someone is doing prizes and giveaways and stuff, but I just can't be bothered to put the right hashtag or post it in the right forum. Like, I'm focused on other things. So he is finished, and I love him. He's a great addition to the gnome family. And just this morning, I finished my last FO of the year. And of the month. I should just focus on the month because this video is only about the month of December. My last FO for December, because there's no way I can finish something else in a day and a half. So I finished a pair of socks, and I started these, I think, earlier this month. I think I started them in December, if I remember correctly. But they are a scrappy pair of socks, so I used 2 self-striping yarns, and I alternate one color for each round, and I just love it. It's, oh gosh, it is so fun to mix self-striping yarns together and just create an entirely new look. So I used, so the colorways, one of the self-striping colors is from, one of them is from Knit Picks. One of them is from Cloudborn. I'm not sure that Cloudborn is around anymore because when I bought it, it was a part of Craftsy. And then Craftsy was purchased by Blue something. Doesn't matter. Well, now they're Craftsy again. Yeah, but I don't know that they do the Cloudborne yarn anymore. Anyway, it was from, so one of these is the mini stripes, and then one of them does the longer stripe sequence. So the longer stripe sequence here with like the gold and the neon green and the light blue, this is from Knit Picks. This is Knit Picks Felici in the board shorts colorway. The mini stripes were this beautiful forest green, a nice charcoal gray, and a light blue, which is why you see these light stripes here is from those mini striping ones. That was from Cloudborne, and I don't remember the name of the colorway, and hopefully that doesn't bother you too much because I don't know that you can buy it anymore. But yeah, and I love the colors. I did do my reversing the sequence on the other sock. So whichever colorway seems to have the most prominent sequence when I knit the first sock, I flip the order on the second sock. And that was board shorts with the orangey golds into the bright green and the bright blue. I swapped the order on the second sock. I just love doing that. And then the heel is Knit Pick Stroll in the color Cider, which is a skein I bought this year. So yeah, I love it. These are for me 2x2 ribbing, top down, size 1 needles, heel flap and gusset, as you can see. And I did refer back to my my husband got me a sock knitting book, like sock knitting techniques of the construction of socks, like different heels you can make and different cast on methods and all of this technical stuff that it's a book I refer to again and again and again, even though I've been knitting socks for almost 10 years now. It's just crazy to think that I've been doing this for 10 years, but it's a great book, and if I can find a link to it, if it's still something you can purchase, I will put a link to it in the description box. I think it's a great resource. So I was having trouble on my heel flaps of one side of my, one of the edges being way looser than the other side. And if you knit heel flaps, I imagine you've encountered this as well. And it was just, it's very annoying. It was always the side where I started with a knit. The side that I started with a purl was much tighter, but the side I started with a knit stitch was way looser, and I was like, I don't know how to fix this, but it's really annoying when I go to pick up stitches and one of the edges is really tight and the other one is really loose. So I went back to my book and reread slip stitch heel flaps and, you know, partridge heel and all the different things, and went, okay, I don't know how I deviated so much, but I was doing the stitches where I was slipping the stitch, and then whether I was knitting or purling the first stitch was definitely very different than what the book was saying. So I was like, okay, I'll just follow the book exactly, and it's much more balanced this time. It's not perfect. There is one side that's still a little bit looser than the other, but only by a small amount, not the vast difference I was getting before. So I'm very thankful for that resource, and I am so glad my husband got me that. But yes, I have another finished pair of socks, and a scrappy one at that. I did finish one other project in the month of December, but it's secret knitting, so I'm not going to share it with you. I did count the yardage in my making goals for the year because I'm keeping track of all the yardage that I use out of my stash and how much comes in. So I did log it for that goal tracking, but I'm not going to share, I'm sorry, I'm not going to share the finished object with you today. I'll share it with you in the future, next year sometime, after the secret is out. But yes, I had some secret knitting, and I'm sorry, but you're just gonna have to wait. No spoilers here. I will share it with you in the future. You'll just have to trust me on that one for now. What is not so secret is a very new project that I've started. So that's all I finished in the month of December was a single advent mitten, a gnome, a pair of socks, and something else that you don't know what it is yet. Which is really great considering how busy December tends to be. And I guess I can share with you now because I said I would and I don't think I did. The weather this month was ridiculous because, so I'm in Washington State, the Pacific Northwest, so the northwest corner of the contiguous United States, right? I'm not in Alaska. I kind of wish I was, but winter is the rainy season here. So I do not live in a high enough elevation to get snow reliably. I am in between the Cascade Mountain Range and the Olympic Mountain Range, and definitely up in the mountains, they get snow. So if I want to see it and I want to make a snowman or whatever, I can get to it. It's actually not far of a drive at all. But I don't have to deal with it at my house or drive in it or shovel, except every once in a while. So it usually rains here instead at our lower elevation at the house. And it rained and rained and rained. So if you're in the area, you know what I'm talking about. If you're anywhere along the West Coast, you also got hit with a bunch of rain. So I'm not going to belabor the point, but we kept getting these atmospheric rivers, and mostly what was happening is the wind was bringing warm air from the south, from like near Hawaii, up north to us. So it was bringing warm air and moisture. So it was raining. It had also rained a lot in the mountains, so any snow that had already been accumulated was then melted and running off the mountainside along with the rain falling on it. So we experienced a lot of flooding. There are a lot of homes, farms, businesses, roads, different kinds of structures, just lots of damage and devastation, lots of people and animals displaced from their homes, and just a lot. And it's not just here in Washington. Oregon got hit with it as well, and California. So when I say the weather was terrible, that's what I mean. I live on a pretty prominent hill, is where my house is situated. It's not like a hill and my house is at the top. Like the neighborhood we're in is well above the nearby river. So my home is completely fine. We're completely safe here. I mean, the ground is soggy, but I am not having to fill out any insurance claims or anything. Driving around the neighborhood was really annoying, and making sure family could come up here safely was annoying, but it was nothing compared to what a lot of folks are dealing with in the aftermath of the flooding right now. So the weather was not kind. Yeah. So it's nicer now. It's not raining. In fact, the sun's even out. It's a beautiful day. And it's getting colder, and the mountains are getting snow again, and that's wonderful. So during all of that, though, I managed to do a lot of crafting. We hosted family who drove up from Northern California amidst the weather and everything worked out fine. It was a beautiful Christmas and lots of fun and happy memories. And what I did is I started a sewing project. I know, I'm really excited about it. It's a hand sewing project. It's a quilting project. And I was going to like wait for the new year to technically tick in before starting it. And then I thought, why am I waiting? So I went ahead and started it. So if you watched some of my Vlogmas videos, you would know that I visited a thrift shop and I purchased some children's books for the paper. So this was a tip I'd gotten from another wonderful lady on YouTube who is a quilting queen. I can only aspire to learn as much as I can from her because she makes just amazingly gorgeous quilts. But I wanted to learn more about English paper piecing, and so she mentioned in one of her videos when she was sharing how she does it is that she uses paper from children's books because of the quality paper. It's thick enough to hold the shape, but not as thick as like cardboard or something, so you can still fold it, excuse me, as you need to do the sewing and such. So I did get a 1-inch hexagon paper punch. So the 1-inch measurement is on the side. So each side length is 1 inch and the diameter of this is 2 inches. So if you are shopping for a paper punch, know what it's measuring. Is it measuring a side length or a diameter? So to get this, what I call a 1-inch hexagon, the 1 inch is each side is 1 inch. But when I purchased it, the listing on Amazon was a 2-inch hexagon, and the 2 inches is the diameter, so from corner to corner. And I did measure it with a ruler to confirm these measurements are correct. So I did successfully punch out an entire book, which is probably only like 20 pages. Well, 20 on the page count, so probably only 10, whatever. Anyway, most of them are here. I have a few in fabric right now, but yeah, I just went ahead and did that. Actually, while we had family here, just while people were getting ready, I came in the craft room, punched out a few things, and then, you know, just in some downtime. And yeah, it was one of those like look and find kind of books where they have the kids, you know, see if you can find the binoculars and see if you can find the crab and the seashell or whatever. So they're very vibrant hexagons for sure. And I had bought some needles and a thimble and all kinds of stuff. And I have so much thread that I've gotten from family members, grandparents and parents and all the like. So I am all set. I did order, so people who do hand stitching for quilts swear by these bowhin needles, and I did break down and order some. They just arrived last night because I was using these, and they're a bit shorter, like not too much shorter, but I did stab myself with the needle quite a lot, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna spend the money to get the longer ones, and if that helps me save my fingertips, then I'll say it's $7 well spent. So we're gonna try that out. And then I also got some thimbles. So I bought this kind of thimble thinking it's metal, it's rigid, because then the needle won't poke through it, right? But I need to be able to grip putting the fabric around the hexagon and everything. So I got these silicone ones as well, so I can still grip. And I haven't used them yet, so I will let you know how they fare. I'm hoping that it's enough of a layer, the needle won't go through, but I mean, if the needle wants to go through, it'll go through. But let me show you. So I've put all this in a little box that I got at like the dollar store, just so I can have a handy little kit in which to hold all these things. And then I've got just a leftover box from something I ordered, and in here are my fabric squares and the paper pieces that I did wrap fabric around. So, oh, they just went all over my lap. I had purchased a jelly roll of fabric from a store. I mean, it was definitely on sale. That's why I bought it. Because I had no idea what to use it for. And I only got the one because that's all they had. I think the store was closing, but I don't remember. Anyway, so they coordinate, which is great. And they were in these strips that were 2.5 inches wide. And I did a sample to see if I made them 2.5 by 2.5 squares. Would that be enough to wrap around my hexagon and give enough seam allowance on the back? And the answer is yes. So I chopped up all the strips into the 2.5 by 2.5 squares, and I went ahead and started. Sorry, I'm going to grab them all. These are all the ones that I've done so far. It's probably 30. I would have done more, but I was really beating up my hands with the needles and the thimble that I couldn't quite make work. And so now that I have my new supplies, I will be back at it. But yeah, it's just this plaid, black, green, and gray plaid. And I've only done the one design so far. I figure, I don't know. What I'd like to do is just do all of this one pattern first, then move on to the next pattern, and just make all of these first, just basting them onto the paper first before I decide how to arrange them and actually start stitching them together. Let me know what you think about that strategy. Because honestly, I'm not sure with the amount of fabric I have how big of a piece I'm going to be able to make. I think, excuse me, because it's only one jelly roll. I mean, I don't know. Here's part of the problem. I don't know what I'm going for. I'm definitely not going for like a king size blanket or something massive, but I'm also not wanting to go for like a wall hanging. So maybe a lap blanket. I don't know. But I don't think this is going to be enough fabric for something like that. I think I'm probably going to need to pull in some more. And I just want to make this a stash thing. This is my first time doing it. Let's just do it with stash and not buy anything specific for this. And that'll be special all on its own. Like, I got this. It's been sitting in this room for like 5 years. I haven't used it. I'm finally finding a use for it, which is great. So yeah, I started a English paper piecing quilt project. I'm not sure what exactly I'm making or what design I will make out of the pieces, but I'm having fun exploring this new craft and this new process, and it's nice. It's actually kind of nice that it's portable, that I don't have to sit in front of my sewing machine, and I can do it at the dining room table, on the couch. I can be in the craft room if I want to, and it's kind of nice. And I think that's it for the month of December. That's it. It was actually quite a bit. So the only new thing I started was the quilting project. I did not cast on anything new for knitting or crochet. I've brainstormed lots of ideas of 100 million things that I want to do. But you know, you only have so many hours in a day. So I think that wraps up this video. I did not bring in any yarn this month, so it's all just out, none of it in. And I'm not going to talk about those yardages in this episode. I'm going to save that for my 2025 year in review episode. So I will share my yardages there on how much came in, how much went out, the different kinds of projects I made throughout the year and different crafts and all of that wonderful stuff, and then set up my making for 2026. What am I going to do? What are you going to do? Let me know in the comments below what your plans are for 2026. Are you going to do a bingo card, make 9? Are you setting goals for using up your stash or building a stash? There was a time when I didn't have a stash and my goal was to make one. And sometimes I wish I was in that situation. So if you are, enjoy it. Until next time, I hope that you stay safe, stay healthy, and enjoy your crafts, whatever they may be, and however many you have. I will see you next time and in the new year. Bye.